If your life has been affected by multiple sclerosis or any other neurological condition, then this channel is for you. So please consider subscribing to be kept up to date with future videos. My name's Liam, and in 2018, I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting MS. I've mentioned this in previous videos and I want to be accountable to it. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit more about exercise. Exercise is something that I used to do a lot more of before I became unwell. I'd be at the gym 2-3 times a week. I'd be playing ice hockey twice a week, perhaps nipping out for a run, like quite active. But now I don't really have the energy to do any of that. I've stopped playing ice hockey with the view that I would like to get back into it, but we'll see what happens with that. I haven't seen a gym in a long time, and yeah, I've got some new running shoes to break in, but nothing has happened with that so far, which is a shame, because I know I need to be doing more. I'd like to be doing more, but it's just finding that motivation to actually get going, and that's something I want to talk a little bit more about. And I'm going to do a follow-up to this video as well to show that I'm accountable, and I'm going to do some exercise and go for a run. So when it comes to exercise with MS, it's important to try to understand how your body has changed, what things you need to accommodate, and then try and work sort of around that / with it. Because if you're suffering a lot with fatigue and brain fog, and you're in pain, or your legs are aching, or things are hurting, it's very difficult to motivate yourself to go out and do something that you know will make things better. So I find it's about sort of tiny habits, really. It was a book I mentioned, I think, in a previous video, Tiny Habits, about trying to encourage yourself to make changes, positive habits by doing little things. So firstly, exercise is really diverse, and there's lots of things that you can do. And I think what a lot of people do is they get put off because they think that they know they need to exercise, therefore they need to go out and run 10 kilometers, or they need to go to the gym and lift really heavy and really wear themselves out. And the thought of that can really add to the fatigue. It can make you feel demotivated and heavy, lethargic. So it's just about starting simple. And one of the best things you can literally do is get your shoes on, go outside, go for a walk, get some fresh air. You're in nice, perhaps cooler temperatures, depending where you are in the world. And you can just get some exercise, get moving, get a few steps. Most of our phones have a pedometer in them, so you can see your steps, see how far you've done, and maybe just try and beat that next time. And the more you do that, the better you're going to start to feel. Therefore, you're more likely to be in a place where you can start to do a little bit more. Now, that little bit more can be anything. We each have different things that we enjoy doing when it comes to exercise, or dislike the least, whichever that might be. So for me, if I want to work back to a point where I'm getting to a gym, I need to start getting out and doing some walking. After I've done some more walking, I can perhaps start for a little jog or a run. Don't go too far. Don't try and push myself. Don't try and do the things I used to be able to do because I feel like I'm entitled to do those, because I should be able to do those. It's not going to happen. I'm going to get demotivated. I'm going to get put off by it all. So yeah, starting small, walking and running gradually, I think, is something that that can help. I always talk about routine being really positive as well. So knowing that perhaps, right, okay, not on Monday because everyone's trying to get back into the weekend, but perhaps as the week goes on, you pick a day where you're going to need to do some exercise, and you think, right, it's getting to that time now, I need to put my shoes on and go out for a run. Now, the thought of a run, again, might be off-putting, but just tell yourself that little tiny habit you need to do, the only thing you have any accountability for is putting on your trainers, putting on your running shoes. That's all you've got to do. So with that, you're likely to get changed, put your shoes on, and that's all you've got to do. But that kind of tricks your mind, because now you think, well, I've got my shoes on, I might as well go out and go for a little walk, go for a little run. So trying to do things like that are really going to help encourage you to make positive changes in your life and start to do more exercise. I've seen more and more recently from things like wild swimming clubs. They're great because you're getting a bit of exercise, but you're doing that cold exposure as well, which we know is really good for our immune system, can really help with things like fatigue and brain fog. So if you do have a local wild swimming club near you, where you can meet up with them and perhaps test the water, as it were, with some help and some support early on, I'd really encourage that, because yeah, the benefits of cold water therapy, again, another video coming up about that, but wild swimming is massively growing in popularity, and I'm seeing more and more people taking the plunge. So looking at things like that, you're not going for a big long swim and wearing yourself out, you're just braving the cold water and doing a little bit of exercise. So a little bit is better than nothing. A mentor of mine, Lee, he always says that little bricks build big castles. So no one starts and has the end result. You've got to take those baby steps to get there. Take those small steps. Each one is a little victory. It's a little bit of progress that's going to help motivate you and going to help you get to, head in the right direction and reach that goal of perhaps becoming a little bit more fit and healthy. You may have some restrictions. You may have limited mobility. You may be in a wheelchair. I completely understand that. Again, those small steps are really important. So, bearing that in mind, it's not a case of, right, well, I've got these limitations, so I can't do anything. Or the same view that you might have had with the other bits I talked about, where you think I've got to go and do a lot. You haven't. Dom Thorpe, I believe his name is, part of the UK MS Society. He's a personal trainer. His mum suffered with multiple sclerosis, for a long time of her life, and sadly passed away. So Dom has devoted his life to helping those affected by MS to get moving and do more, whether it's things like seated exercises. So if you are a wheelchair user or you do have limited mobility, there is still some resistance training you can do, or there may be routines or circuits and things that you can do that are accommodated or accommodate wheelchair users and things like that. So I guess the core message is, you might think you can't, therefore you don't, when actually start small and you can start to work towards those goals that you're trying to set and start to get moving, start to get a little bit more exercise. That's going to release some endorphins as well. It's going to do great positive things for your body. First time you do it, you're going to suffer with that fatigue, and your recovery is going to take longer. But I promise, the more you do, the better it will be and the more benefits that you will receive. So if you've been thinking, I might need to do this, I'd like to do this, I'm going to do this, now's that time to be accountable. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to do a follow-up video to this, might even take you with me. I'm going to go and start small, do a bit of exercise, go for a walk, go for a run, maybe do a little bit of light resistance training. And then that first session's ticked off my list then, and I've, I'm able to try and see where I can go from there, as opposed to trying to, do more when I can't. I'm trying to negotiate with my MS, and I know that I can't do the things that I used to be able to do. So I'm going to start small and see where I get to. If you want to make any commitments, then drop us a comment. Tell me what you're going to do, what you used to do, how you've struggled, what you plan to do now, and we'll try and keep each other all accountable, because I think that would really help. So cheers for checking out the video. Hope it was helpful. A shorter, stranger one this morning, today, but really appreciate it. If you're enjoying the videos, please do hit the subscribe button. Give us a like if you can. It really does help the channel and push it out to more people that have MS. So the more people we can reach, the better. So yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.